So, let's start with analytical geometry. Today we're just gonna quickly go over the stuff that we know about in grade 10 already. Yeah, that's what we are gonna be doing now. Okay? So, when we talk about the gradient of a line, okay, we mean like how steep or slant is it? Okay? That's what I mean when we talk of the grade. So, right, that's the gradient. And then there's the distance formula, if you still remember that. Okay? This is the formula that we use to measure the gradient of a line. And this is the formula that we use to calculate the midpoint of a line. Okay. Right. Let's just quickly do this very small example, just so we can see how these things are supposed to work. Okay. So there is a sketch. It says not drawn to scale. So trying to take a ruler and measure doesn't work. Okay. You have to use methods of geometry. Right. So using the sketch alongside, this is lesson 2 on the notes that are there in the book. Right. So, yeah. So using the sketch alongside not drawn to scale, calculate AB. Okay. So AB, obviously we need to calculate the distance. So we're going to use our distance formula. Okay. This one.
Equals square root of x.
2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, everything has to be under the same square. Right. Now, when you're taking x2 or x1 in your coordinates, it doesn't really matter which is x2 and which is x1. Okay, you can start anyway. But now, if you take this to be x1, then the y1 must be this one. So you can't make x1 then y1 there. And then if you take this to be x2, that means this is y2. Okay? Even if you do it the other way around, it doesn't matter. If you make this x2, y2, and x1, y1, doesn't matter. Still works. Right? So let's sub this into our formula. Okay, so x2 we have what? 2 there, isn't it? So we're going to sub 2 minus x1 we have negative 4 over there. So we're going to sub that. Okay, plus if we have y2 that is negative 3 minus y1 that is 5. And then we close the bracket and square everything. Right. Do you understand how we substituted these things into the formula?
Yes.
Because that is very important. So we're just going to use a calculator to find that. Okay, so in the calculator, we're going to press the square root there. Okay, there's the button. Right, open brackets, 2 minus, because we are subtracting a negative number, negative 4. Don't worry, the calculator is going to sort that one for you. Okay, and square that, plus, what's the other one? Negative 3 minus 5, so open bracket, negative 3 minus 5, close the bracket and square that. Right. So the distance is 10. Okay, so that's what it's just going to do. Right. Yes, you are allowed to just write this, press in the calculator and give the answer. That's perfectly fine. Okay?
How much marks is that, sir?
This is only 2 marks.
So
Because we know the calculator is going to do this for you.
So for what do you get 2 answers now when you use for the midpoint?
A midpoint, you get 2, which is an x coordinate and a y coordinate.
2 answers now?
Yeah. Right, this. Okay? So we've got this formula for the midpoint. We've got this formula. Okay, remember it's what? x2 plus x1. So our x2 is this one, which is 2, plus our x1. Well, it's a negative, so you have to add it with its negative. Okay?
I don't know.
divide that by 2, that's the x. The x2, the y2 there is negative 3, minus the y1 there is 5. So we're going to say negative 3. Sorry, it's a plus. Yeah, thank you. Over 2. Okay, right. Which is equal to. Okay, do we really need a calculator here? Well, not really. So 2 minus 4, that's negative 2, divided by 2, that's negative 1. But if you decide to use the calculator, it's fine still. Negative 3 plus 5, that's 2 over 2, and then that's positive 1. So that's the midpoint of that line.
And if it's different, I think.
Different like how? Yeah, it's possible to have a midpoint of negative 1 and 3. Well, yeah, we need to find the gradients. Okay. So we know the formula for the gradient, right? The change in y, so y2 minus y1, over the change in x, which is x2 minus x1. Okay. Let's see from our diagram. Y2 is this one, negative 3, right? So you're going to say negative 3 minus y1, which is 5, over x2 is 2, minus x1 is negative 4. So you have to minus the negative 4 with. Well, you can just do this in the calculator. Okay, just saves us time. So let's see, what do we get? Negative 3 minus 5 over 2 minus negative 4. Yeah, that's correct. Negative 4 over 3. So that's a gradient. So we just kind of reminding you how to find these gradients and midpoint and the distance and all that, because that is the most important thing in analytical geometry. Everything else after that is not that difficult. Okay.